Hello, ma'am. Good
All right.
evening.
Good evening, Hansi.
Guys, we are back with the extension of our cadet diaries, in which we will be asking questions to our experts that we missed during that live session. So, with us, we have Sonal ma'am here today, and she will be guiding us with the resume cadet diaries, the resume episode of cadet diaries. So, hello, ma'am, and we
Hi.
have a list of questions for you that cadets asked, and we shall begin now.
All right.
So the
Absolutely.
first question asked was that what are the minimum number of pages for a resume?
Okay. See, if it is a fresher resume, that I would recommend that it be only about 1 page. But if it is the resume of a more experienced professional, then the ideal length is 2 pages, and rarely should it extend to 3 pages. But absolutely nothing more than that.
Nothing more than 3 pages.
No, nothing more than 3 pages in any case.
That's thank you, ma'am. And the next question is that how is the job market in COVID-19 situation?
Okay, that's a very burning issue right now, actually. Okay,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
job market, I would say there was stagnancy in the job market immediately after the lockdown was announced in March. But as of 1 month back, the market is looking up. There are jobs, okay, we are not getting as many job requirements or mandates from different clients as we used to, but the requirements are coming in now. So the market is opening up as the economy opens up, as the locations are opening up in India. So is the job market. So I don't foresee too much of an issue with respect to securing a job.
Okay, ma'am. So the third question is, ma'am, our personality is also important. Does it really matter other than resume?
Yes, personality really matters, but it should not be the determining factor, because your capability, the educational qualifications that you have, your capabilities, the kind of experience that you have with respect to job, that also matters. But yes, along with your personality, it all becomes a package deal that you kind of present to a respective employer. So yes, being smartly attired, learning the nuances of communication. Now, communication could be Hindi communication as well. Communication doesn't mean that you have to converse only in English. आप हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं, पर आप कितनी अच्छी तरीके से, कितने प्रॉपर तरीके से अपनी बात को प्रेजेंट करते हैं इंटरव्यूअर को, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ योर पर्सनैलिटी. So
Yes,
yes, I would say it does matter the interview stage.
yes, ma'am. So, and here's the next question. So, what are the new qualities company is seeking in employees in upcoming scenario?
Okay, in the upcoming scenario, I would say that people are looking for employees who are able to multitask. Now, companies always look for people who were willing to take on more responsibilities, and who were willing to work well with teams. But in the emerging scenario, what we're seeing is that companies are looking for employees who can do more than one job. So if you are joining, for example, in the accounts department, and you have additional knowledge of, say, taxation, or additional knowledge of having handled GST, or have some software knowledge, then that would be a definite boon, because you would be able to pitch in if
Yeah.
some other employee will not be there.
Yes,
So
yes.
multitasking as well as additional skill sets are what is most important right now.
That's really nice, ma'am. So, here a question. It's a personal question that I have a career gap of 4 years after 6 years of work experience. How do I make
Okay.
my resume attractive?
Firstly, I would say that the career gap needs to be mentioned. There would have been a reason why that person went on a career break. If it is a
Yes.
personal reason, then that person needs to mention just that in the resume. If it was for maybe an educational reason, some people, after say devoting 3 or 4 years to their corporate jobs, then they go in for an executive MBA program, which could be a 2-year residential program, or the person may have gone abroad for a degree program.
Yes.
So if it was any of these kinds of reasons, then then that person needs to mention that. Or else, if that person lost their job due to maybe some kind of retrenchment in the company that they were working for, or it could have been any other scenario, maybe an illness, or they needed to take care of an ailing parent, Then two, they need to mention that career gap. The
Mentioning is
reason I say this is, yes, mentioning is important. And the reason I say this is because as a recruiter, when you're coming to me as a candidate, a prospective candidate, you have to sell yourself to me. If I am a consultant, I am a mediator in between, then I need to be convinced that I will be able to convince my client your side. So absolute transparency is something that I absolutely suggest that yes, it should be done.
okay, ma'am. So here we have next question. If we are not able to answer the question being asked by the interviewer, then how to handle that situation so that the interviewer will not encounter that we really don't know the answer? In a simple way, what can we say instead of I don't know?
Okay, so the best part, the best thing to do here is to deflect that particular question with a smile, or because say if you go for an interview and you're asked a question and you're not able to answer, then that's really negative. वो वहीं के वहीं आपका इंटरव्यू में एक नेगेटिव मार्क लग जाता है. If it is something which is technical और आपको उस चीज की knowledge नहीं है, then I would say it is okay to say, I'm sorry, I not gained any kind of experience in this, or I've not studied this particular field. But yes, I'm an eager learner. I'm willing to learn. Given time and given a chance, I'm sure that I would be able to come up to par. Or else, if it is something, now कई चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो कि technical नहीं होती हैं. You know, it's something you may have missed. It could be a flaw in your preparation. If it is that, I would say apologize. Tell the interviewer that I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to this, but I assure you that I will, pay more heed to this kind of this kind of a question in future.
Yes, yes. So next question is this: should hobbies and interests be mentioned in the same line? Hello.
Okay, see, if your hobby is not contributing anything substantially to your skills, or it is not helping you build up or amp up your resume, then I would say please don't mention it. So for example, if your hobby is watching movies, or your hobby is, reading fashion magazines, or your hobby is chatting with your friends, a lot of people mention such things also on their resume.
Yes.
So let me assure you that it is absolutely not a hobby at all. Or your hobby could be something, it could be studying the stock market, or it could be reading a particular kind of literature, maybe the perusal of Carnatic music. Now, these are the kinds of hobbies that show people, or rather a prospective employer, that this candidate is very devoted, he's very passionate about something. Your hobby could be volunteering at an animal shelter, because animals could be, something that you really love and you really pursue that in your free time. So if it is something that is helping you build your resume, then only mention it, otherwise totally omit it.
That's very rightly said, ma'am. And so hobbies and interests can be done in two lines, like not in only one line. If it is substantial, like if your hobbies are really nice, that we can
exactly. If it is substantial, yeah. If it is adding to your candidature, if it will help a prospective employer gain an insight into the kind of individual you are. Yes. You are basically trying to show them that you are somebody who's passionate about causes, who's passionate about leading, things, and who's passionate about working in teams and pitching in as when needed. So yes, if your hobbies are exhibiting these kinds of qualities, then only you should mention them. Otherwise, things like watching movies or chatting with friends and stuff should be avoided.
Yes, yes. So the next question is, what do you mean by highlighting in resume?
Okay, highlighting in resume doesn't work like it does in essay writing. तो जब हम कोई essay लिखते हैं, अगर आपको याद हो कभी स्कूल कॉलेज में आपने essays लिखे हो, so there would be key phrases or lines in the essay which we would mark out in bold, just so that कि वो teacher को वो चीज दिख जाए, या हम उसको underline कर देते थे कि इस पे emphasis teacher दे कि हाँ मैंने point cover किया. So that's not how it's done in the resume.
Okay.
The highlighting of a resume is basically, there are different categories or different heads that go into the resume. So your name comes up on top in bold. That is the highlight that is needed. Bold is the only highlight. Apart from that, background colors are not required. A multicolored resume is also an absolute no-no. It should only be written, or sorry, it should only be typed in, blacking. So highlighting a resume should be, what I mean is that if you are presenting yourself to a prospective client, an employer, what are those things in your resume which you think will help you get that job? If you think your achievements are something they would look at, I would suggest highlight those by bringing them up front. So under your name, under maybe an objective statement, you can put your achievements first. Your educational qualifications, if you think कि भाई मेरे marks अच्छे नहीं आए थे या मेरी percentage अच्छी नहीं थी, but my certifications are better. So then under your achievements, put your certifications, let your educational details sink to the bottom of the resume.
Okay.
So that's what is meant by highlighting on a resume. It's not actually physically highlighting. It is portraying the best possible qualities of yourself, which help you secure a job.
So उसको हमें bold करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि हाँ we attended this seminar.
No.
कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No, that not that. All you can do is put the heading in bold, like accreditation, certifications. That you can put in bold. Other than that, it's not required.
And ma'am, continuation to this question, you said that only typed resume is accepted. Like handwritten resume, is it accepted in the companies?
Actually, it's preferred that a typed resume be sent in, because handwriting मतलब अब सबकी बड़ी अच्छी खूबसूरत handwriting नहीं होती है. कई लोग doctors के जैसे भी लिखते हैं, which is illegible and can be read by the pharmacist only.
Yes.
So it is always preferred that you send in a typed resume in a legible font, so probably Arial or Calibri or Times New Roman, and maybe a 12 font size. It could be 11 also, but it definitely should not be 10. It should be easily, readable. It should be legible. So typed resume is better.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And next question is also on these lines. Does the design, the theme, the font of resume have any importance to stand out?
If you're applying for the job of an accountant, or you're applying for a salesperson's job, then it wouldn't have that much of an impact. But for example, if you're applying for the job of a graphic designer, or you have a qualification in advertising, and you're applying for the job of an advertising executive, then I would say that a well-designed resume is what will catch their eye. A graphic designer is supposed to design logos and graphics for a company, right? If you have the certification, I would say design your resume accordingly. Let that one piece of paper show or exhibit more about yourself than the words that you put into. But other than that, for people applying for normal jobs and normal corporate jobs, designing any kind of frills in a resume is not recommended at all.
बोलते ना थे ना कॉलेज स्कूल में कि क्यों चांद सितारे लगा के आ गए हो आप.
हाँ, exactly. So वो बिल्कुल भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yes, ma'am. So next question is, how to distinguish between our strengths and achievements in the resume?
Okay, see, your achievements, first and foremost, achievement needs to be quantifiable.
Okay.
So the fact that you participated in the college cultural fiesta in itself is not an achievement, because कोई भी participate कर सकता है, कोई भी नाम दे सकता है. चलो आपका selection भी हो गया, चलो 40 बच्चों में से 400 बच्चों में से, but that in itself is not enough. What is it that you gained out of it? Did you win anything? Were you commended for any of your contributions? Do you have any certificate to prove that? So those are the kind of things that will come in handy. So आप achievements की जब आप बात करते हो, the same thing applies. And another thing is that all this should be in a decreasing chronology. So the achievements which you have, which are most recent, should come up on top. And things like, school may, like maybe in class 7th, you won a drawing competition, or you won lemon and spoon race, because we get a lot of resumes with such kind of things written in them as achievements. They're absolutely a no-no for a resume. When you're sending it out for a job, unless you sat for the drawing examinations, which are like, beginner level, intermediate level, or high level state drawing examinations, and you have a certification from the government for it, then it's a different thing. Or if you have played sports for that matter, at a state level or regional level or district level even, that is also a plus which should be put in the resume. But other than that, things that you participated in, maybe you came first in a drawing competition in class 6, but it's not really going to impact, create an impact when you're going
Yes,
in for a
yes.
job.
And many a times हम जो freshers होते हैं जिनका पास कोई ऐसा experience नहीं होता है, just to fill up
Hmm.
the resume, they put up all these things,
Yeah,
right? So how
they
do
do.
they
They do.
differentiate between that this is important and this I should fill, no useless stuff in the resume?
Again, quantifiable things are the ones that need to be filled in. So the fact that quantifiable things, achievements could be educational achievements. They could
Yes,
be achievements in sport, cultural activities, like what we say, extra cultural activities, or they could also be your interests. Like I said, volunteering at an animal shelter or an old age home, something like that. The fact that you have done it for a year, or maybe you're a blood donor, you have
yeah,
donated blood every year you do it, and you or maybe you help organize diabetes camps, or you volunteer in your society for the cultural fiestas or things like that, and you've consistently been doing it. Now, just volunteering is not enough, but the fact
yes.
that you consistently do it quantifies it. कि इस साल भी किया, उस साल भी किया. So 1 + 1 = 2 immediately. That shows me your drive, your determination, your passion. That shows me that come what may, whatever situation be thrown at you as an employee, you will be able to find a way to scale that.
Yeah.
So that is how it should be portrayed, basically.
And when strengths are basically the qualities, like if we distinguish between strengths and achievements. So,
Okay, so strengths, see, a lot of people write hardworking, hard worker, and good with people, and punctual, dedicated, disciplined. These are the kind of strengths they put in their resume. My advice is, please do not put this. If you're coming to my organization, if I am your employer, I expect you to embody these characteristics. I mean, अगर आप में ये भी नहीं है कि आप disciplined हो और punctual हो, तो मुझे आपकी जरूरत ही नहीं है ना फिर तो.
सही बात.
So I expect that you will be having these things. But the fact that I am a problem solver, I am an initiative taker, I work well within teams. Given an opportunity, I can lead a team. I solve problems by a logical and analytical approach. So these are the kind of strengths that you need to show.
So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope we hope that we answered a few questions. If not, then stay tuned, because we will be answering some more questions in the upcoming videos.